Alright guys, 2022 was a great year for music. We got new albums from the legends Kendrick, Drake, Future, and Snoop Dogg, along with some music from Eminem, Dr. Dre, and even a feature from the late Nipsey. We also got great projects from Denzel Curry, JID, Pusha T, and some solid projects from Lil Durk, Gunna, and Quavo and Takeoff. Now, I'm going to talk about what tracks I think are the best songs of the year. I won't be going in any particular order when talking about these songs. First, I'm going to talk about Gunna. Gunna had a good start to the year with the DS Forever album, but with the YSL Rico case, his year quickly turned around for the worst. With that being said, his album gave two of my favorite tracks of the year, Pushin P and P Power. Pushin P was a huge moment, as the song turned into this huge meme. The song itself is one of the strongest tracks on DS Forever, with the wheezy beat that has this cool switch at the start of each of the verses. The laid-back vocals from Gunna and Future flow well over the instrumental. Young Thug comes in with an eccentric performance with hilarious bars like, "I just effed a cup of water." P-Power is the other song I mentioned from this album. It has this funky beat produced by Metro with this female moaning sample. Personally, I like strange and random experimentations with songs, so hearing Gunna and Metro take a risk with this beat was refreshing. Also, Drake does have a strong verse on the back end of the track. Next, I want to talk about Kodak Black. Now, I want to make it clear that I am talking about the music alone, and I do not endorse Kodak Black as a person or anything that he has done. Now that that is stated, I want to say Kodak Black has had a strong year for music after the questioning if he has fallen off previous years. His song Super Gremlin blew up this year, and it was a great song. The pitched up sample provides the bass for a great chorus. Kodak dives into how he feels about a friend who he feels did him wrong in the verses. Along with this, we got Silent Hill by Kendrick featuring Kodak, in which Kodak gives his best verse in a while. The song itself features a hard-hitting beat with an interesting silenced pistol sound effect. Kendrick also steps into his cousin Baby Keem's world with the chorus of the song, where he uses a higher-pitched voice to rap than he normally does. He also creates a funny sound effect. Kodak also has a strong feature in Drowning Part 2 by A Boogie, which was a good track this year. Future also had a great year with his I Never Liked You project. The standout tracks in my opinion were Puffin on Zootiez and Wait For You. Puffin on Zootiez just has this chill late night feel to it with this elegant female vocal sample that comes in with the second time the chorus is repeated. Future just slides over the instrumental with some soft-spoken melodic vocals. Wait For You has some beautiful vocals by Thames that run throughout the duration of the track and act as a sample. We get one of Future's more heartfelt performances on the album with this song, and a strong Drake verse that continues into his version of the chorus on the song. Like I mentioned earlier, Denzel Curry had a great project this year with his album Melt My Eyes, See Your Future. The standout track on the album for me was X-Wing. While this song is possibly one of the weaker tracks on the album lyrically, it's cool hearing Denzel lean into this auto-tune melodic rap that is prominent in the mainstream rap. The beat hits hard and has these somber violin melodies that pair well with Denzel's singing and lyrics of yearning for success from a place of less fortune. JID's album The Forever Story was a great project with many beautiful tracks outlining the importance of family in his life, with accompanying anecdotes showing the importance. One of my favorite tracks on this album was Bruddanem with Lil Durk. This track really outlines the camaraderie of brothers in the hood and the extent Jid and Durk would go to protect their brothers. Durk really brings a lot to this track as he jumps in out of nowhere while JID is giving a singing performance on the chorus. Durk slides perfectly on the beat and brings more validity to the mindset JID is displaying through the song with his own street background. Surround Sound was another great track on the project. Surround Sound features 21 Savage and was the first single for The Forever Story. The beat features this almost chilling vocal sample, which we know 21 Savage excels on when looking at tracks like Runnin' or A Lot. JID brings the energy with a rapid-fire flow, and 21 Savage matches his energy with a fast rapping performance, which creates a great verse. The beat to the song then switches and uses a different part of the vocal sample. The track suddenly feels a lot darker and grittier, which JID matches with gritty imagery about slang and dope and running from cops and Rottweilers. While we were talking about JID, it's a good time to mention the track Stick from the Dreamville project that came out this year. Stick was a shameless attempt at a mosh pit song from Dreamville, and I love it. The chorus is simple, but the energy is there with Kenny Mason's screaming vocals. This song features the most unhinged verses I've heard from JID and J. Cole also. It was really cool to see them step out of their comfort zone with this track. One unexpected collab between two legendary rappers this year was Conflicted by Snoop Dogg featuring Nas. It was great hearing these two legends come together for this track. Nas gives a great chorus, with Snoop Dogg giving us his classic West Coast gangsta talk, which the Hit Boy beat helps intensify. Another unexpected collab between the legends this year was Dr. Dre and Nipsey. Getting any new Dr. Dre music is a blessing, let alone new music from a deceased rapper done tastefully. Posthumous music from rappers has been a controversial topic, but if anyone could do it tastefully, it would be Dre. It includes Nipsey's verse on his song Diamond Mine with Ty Dolla $ign from his project he released for GTA. Nipsey gives us his classic boss talk on his verse, which leads right into Ty Dolla $ign's elegant singing on the chorus. Dr. Dre then gives us a great verse. The song overall feels like a goodbye to Nipsey from Dr. Dre and the West Coast. The Dre project for GTA also gave us Gospel, another Dre and Eminem collab song. This gave us the most unhinged and expressive performance I've heard from Dre, with his vocals on the chorus. We're also getting great Eminem and Dre verses, as expected with a collab between these two. We also got a collab from Eminem and Snoop Dogg with From the D to the LBC, which is great to hear as it confirms that the short beef they had is over. In the song, Eminem raps about the secondhand smoke he's getting from Snoop smoking in the studio, which is hilarious to hear, especially with all the weed play on words Eminem has throughout his verse. Snoop gives an amazing verse as well, as it actually sounds like he is rapping the fastest he ever has before. What Happened to Virgil is the best song off of Lil Durk's 7220. Lil Durk and Gunna glide over the beat with the non-stop melodic rap we love to hear from these two. They're both essentially rapping about their lives. They rap about women, their come-up, their loved ones. Durk mourns the losses of some of his friends on the song, as well as designer Virgil Abloh, who passed away this year. Little information was out surrounding his death initially, so Durk and Gunna expressed their shock of when they heard the news with the refrain, "Oh my god, what happened to Virgil?" His death was as if it came out from nowhere, as he kept his cancer a secret. Benny the Butcher had a big song this year with J. Cole called Johnny P's Caddy. Benny gives a great performance during the first half of the song. J. Cole gets very lyrical with his half of the song, as he goes into subject matter about his position in the rap game and why he still puts in the effort he does with his music. The Alchemist beat has beautiful vocal sampling, which provides a great backdrop for the track. Drake had a wild year with Honestly Nevermind and Her Loss, with Her Loss being the obvious fan favorite of the year, as Drake fully embraces the trap sound with his collaboration with 21 Savage. The best track on Her Loss in my opinion was Rich Flex. While the song itself had some memes around it, I do think it is the best display of what they did on the album. It starts with Drake hyping up 21, which leads into 21's verse over this chanting choir vocal sample. This grandiose sounding sample juxtaposed the stripped back sounding trap beat. 21 has a great verse, which is interrupted abruptly with Drake singing about gold diggers. His singing then cuts to a piano trap beat, where Drake spits his verse on the song. Overall, it was a great first track to the album. Another great song on the album was I Guess It's F Me. Drake gives this somber and emotional outro with both a singing performance and a rapping performance. His singing performance has an interesting vocal effect, as he sounds distant while crooning over a lost lover. His verse has a very low tone as he talks through with himself the issues he encountered with new lovers because of his painful past love life. One of the bangers we had this year was Doja, and no, I'm not talking about the Central C song, I'm talking about the Snot and A$AP Rocky song, although it is crazy that we had two big songs this year called Doja. Doja by Snot has this opera vibe vocal sample with its hard-hitting beat. I get mosh pit song vibes with the F that F you chorus. Snot steps out of his comfort zone with his high-energy rapping performance. This is quite different from his typical laid-back melodic rapping. A$AP Rocky has an interesting verse with his use of the C word, a word that isn't very common in rap. The song also has a high-production music video, while also having a cool casual feel. This year we also had the deluxe of one of my favorite albums of 2021, The Melodic Blue. The deluxe gave us two of my favorite tracks of this year, Bank Account and Highway 95. Highway 95 features a great Lauryn Hill vocal sample. The beat itself sounds like something that would be playing during a road trip scene in a movie. In the song, Baby Keem raps about a time before the fame, when his car broke down on his way to meet a girl. He then talks about how he was inspired by strong women and mentions that he's protective of his mother after a boyfriend of hers made her cry. Bank Account features Lil Uzi Vert, who gives a phenomenal performance on the track. The track has this twisted and mischievous vibe to it, which is displayed through the lyrics of Lil Uzi, like "violate that B word" and "I could turn your B word around and effort in the anus." The track really just feels like the embodiment of Black Air Force energy. Lil Uzi's performance on the track is the most experimental Uzi has been with his sound in a while. He raps in a voice that isn't typical for him and has wild vocal inflections, one of which is when he repeats "do-da-do-do." This sound he makes is repeated throughout the song and even comes up during Baby Keem's verse for him to rap around. Very great track, and I'm glad to see Uzi experiment like this. Uzi experimented again on a feature he had on Flawless by Yeet. Once again, Uzi experiments with rapping in different voices on this song. His experimenting pays off once again as we get one of Uzi's best verses in years on this track. Roddy Ricch had an interesting year coming off of all the negative reception to his Live Life Fast project from the end of 2021. He released a 3-track EP as he prepared to drop his Feed the Streets 3 project, which he did a few months after. This Feed the Streets 3 project felt like a step in the right direction and a return to form for Roddy, as he came back with his melodic singing and vocal experimentation. Two of my favorite tracks from this record were Aston Martin Truck and Blue Cheese. With Aston Martin Truck, Roddy is back flowing on the track while showcasing some new flows that still incorporate his melodic flair. Blue Cheese shows Roddy is back with experimenting even further with his voice, like on the fan favorite The Box with his famous E-er sound. This time on Blue Cheese, Roddy Ricch is doing this infectious woo-woo sound that he carries into the beginning of his verse. It's stuff like that which I truly love to see from Roddy, as many fans fell in love with his vocal experimentation and interesting ad-lib sounds from his debut album, Please Excuse Me for Being Antisocial. It would be wrong to not mention Metro Boomin and the success of his album Heroes and Villains. The album had several greatly produced tracks, but the big hit, and my favorite song from the album, was Superhero with Future and Chris Brown. The beat is hard-hitting, and Future gives a phenomenal performance as he rides the beat effortlessly. He raps about how money and drugs make him feel unstoppable. At around the 2-minute mark of the 3-minute track, we get a beat switch. The banging instrumental is cut off, and we are left with these eerie piano keys. We then get a smooth singing performance by Chris Brown, who voices the sentiment that those preying on your downfall by trying to paint you as the villain are the true villains. Definitely a song I'm going to keep in rotation into the new year. Lil Skies is one of my favorite rappers, but he hasn't been releasing as much quality music since his 2017 to 2019 run. This year he released 2 singles which I really enjoyed. Lil Skies linked back up with Lannon Cube with Play This at My Funeral. On the chorus of the song we hear Lannon sing about a girl who he knows wouldn't stay with him even through the rough times in his life. He says that he knows she wouldn't even show up to his funeral, which is melancholic yet powerful imagery. In the verse, the pair raps about their struggles with drug abuse and problems that come with money. It's great to hear the pair back together with this track. Lil Skies also released a single titled Rage, which is a bit more of a fun and energetic track. While the chorus is a bit repetitive, Skies makes up for it with the energy he brings to the track. The verses are strong with several flow switches and memorable bars with references to Lil Uzi, The Weeknd, and Lil Wayne. Now, I personally don't love posthumous releases, but I gave the King Von posthumous album, What It Means to Be King, a listen, and the best track on it was the intro, Where I'm From. This is one of the more personal tracks from King Von I've heard, as he raps about growing up in poverty and his time in jail. He raps about feeling powerless when hearing about his friend's death in jail, and about where he was in life before his rap career took off. This track does a great job of showing who King Von was through his great storytelling rap, which he was known for. It wouldn't be right to talk about music this year without saying rest in peace Takeoff. He had a solid project with Quavo this year titled Only Built for Infinity Links. One of my favorite tracks off of it was To Infinity Links, the intro song to the album. Both Quavo and Takeoff spit great verses over this hard-hitting soul sample beat. Lil TJ unfortunately got shot this year, but he came back stronger than ever with Beat the Odds. The music video shows TJ recording a song from his hospital bed, showing his dedication to the music and his fans. In the song, TJ raps about how it felt to be so close to death, and about how the turmoil in his life just left him more grateful for everything he has accomplished. This uplifting song and story around it makes the song one of my favorites of the year. Now, I'm not a huge YoungBoy fan, but he released a ton of music this year, and I'm not sure if he has heard the phrase quality over quantity, but with that being said, he did have some good songs this year. One of those songs being Proud of Myself. This is an uplifting song where Youngboy raps about being proud of how far he has come. He expresses his gratefulness for his money, friends, and family. He also voices his regret for choices he has made and the sadness he felt from being away from his children while in jail. Emotional tracks like these are what I really like to hear from Youngboy, which is why Proud of Myself was one of my favorites. I can't forget to mention Kendrick Lamar. He released his first album since 2017 with Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. This album was a moment when it released. I could go on all day talking about tracks like Auntie Diaries or Mother I Sober. For me though, my favorite tracks were Count Me Out and The Savior Interlude. Count Me Out had this cinematic feel as Kendrick builds the suspense both lyrically and instrumentally with the beat. Lyrically, Kendrick raps about proving people wrong. Savior Interlude is more of a Baby Keem song with no actual performance from Kendrick on it. As a huge Baby Keem fan, I love this song. Baby Keem uses different intricate flows and rhymes as he raps over an elegant violin. Baby Keem begins by rapping about where he is from in his personal life. Then he raps about where he is now in life and how he has to take advantage of his current success. It's a really beautiful track. Overall, we got some great music in 2022. I hope I could let you know about some songs you may have missed.